Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lauren, and this is Ian, and we are Bars and Bells. And right now, you are about to experience a kettlebell and bodyweight beginner introduction class. It means these exercises are simple, but not easy, and we can always work on the basics no matter what level we're at. To get started, we'd like to warm up, and then we'll go through some of the things we worked on last week, expanding into our halos and our goblet squats, some rows, some get-ups, and some hinges and chop and pops to end it all off today. First, let's warm up. Standing on 2 feet, gently tuck your chin towards your chest. Keep tucking that chin as you look down towards the floor, pushing your vertebrae in the back of your neck towards the back of the room. Keep your chin tucked as you start looking forward, and then slowly and carefully extend to look up towards the ceiling. Don't do it quickly, making sure you're still in control. And then pull with your muscles, pulling your head back on straight. And one more time, tucking the chin, looking down towards the floor. Keeping that chin tucked as you slowly start looking forward again. And then up towards the ceiling. Slowly pull your head back on straight to where you got it. Let's add a little rotation through our head and neck. No shoulders, no hip movement, only your head. Rotates to look over a shoulder, back to center. Rotates to look over a shoulder, back to center. One more time. Head only rotating, and center, and head only rotating, and center. We have one more move for our neck. We'll go a little bit of a lateral flexion here, or an ear towards our shoulder. And then use those long muscles. Start using them to pull your head back on straight. Other side. Ear to shoulder. And then activate those muscles to pull your head back up. Last time. Ear to shoulder. On straight. Ear to shoulder. On straight. Great, let's take our arms out in front of us and talk about our shoulder blades. Keeping your elbows nice and straight, protract your shoulder blades or reach forward so your blades wrap forward around your body. Now don't bend your elbows, pull your blades together or retract them. Reach forward, protracting your blades, they come around your body. Retract, pull them together, don't bend your elbows. Last time, protract forward, retract back. We'll be using these words when we go to rows today. From here, in that retracted position, take your arms towards your overhead. They don't have to come all the way overhead yet if you're not ready for that. They can come slightly in front like Ian's showing. He would just tuck a little bit in his abs. There we go. Now, I want you to elevate your shoulders to hide your ears and then pull your shoulders down or depress your shoulders. Again, elbows stay straight. Elevate your shoulder blades into your ears. Pull your shoulder blades down. One more time each way. Elevate. And then depress or pull those shoulders down through your lats. Now keep them here and push your arms down or pull your arms down like you're pushing through mud to get your arms back to your side. Relax that. Let's step our feet slightly wider than our hips. Think about our rib cage sliding from side to side. So I'm going to take our rib cage and I'm going to slide it, pull it across my body, back to center, slide my rib cage across. Noticing that my hips aren't moving. It's only my upper thorax. And my arms or my shoulders are staying parallel to the floor. One last time, no teapot tips. Last slide to center. Let's think of that same motion, but now in the forward back. So now our rib cage slides forward. Good. And then our rib cage slides back behind us. As you do this, forward, making sure it's again our rib cage coming with us and not our shoulder blades pretending to do work. Last one or two. Watch that you don't chicken neck too much as you reach forward. And last rib cage slide back. Put your rib cage back to normal. Step your feet in a little bit wider. We're going to come down and introduce some new hip moves. So first we have to get to the floor. Let's do that via our hinge. Chop your hips back. Slide your hands down your legs. I want you to check out a couple things. Are your toes still heavy gripping the floor? Is your spine nice and long and neutral? That means no archy arch back. Nice long spine. Are your hands on your shins and your shins perpendicular to the floor? From here, we'll kind of break some of those rules. We'll have to tip forward a little bit. Hands find the floor. Walk yourself out into all fours here. I'd first like to do a quick wrist warm-up because we're going to be on our wrists a couple times today, or on our hands. Spread your fingers out wide. Pull your shoulders out of your ears. Spin your elbow pits forward or your blood donations forward. Keep them there if you can. And let's gently shift our weight forward into our hands and then use your finger muscles to push yourself back to where you came from. Repeat, shoulders down, elbows straight, donations forward. Shift your weight forward. Push into the floor to push yourself back. Last one, gently shifting forward. If you need less load, walk your knees closer to your hands. Put more weight in your lower body and back. Come out of that. Can you sit like this? Just for a little test. So if you can see Ian's ankles there, he's tucked under in those ankles. Yep, so he's sitting flat. How does that feel? Are your feet yelling and cramping at you, or is it no problem? We'll do something from there after we come back to our wrists. This time, do a quarter turn. Pack your shoulders, donations forward. Gently shift your weight, this time from side to side. Again, use your hands to try to push yourself back through center. Push actively back through center. Last one each side. Good. Push yourself off your hands. Come back to the seated position. This time, can you extend your hips up, squeezing your butt? Can you tuck your toes? Yep. Now, can you just sit back on those tucked toes? How does this feel? Can the toes bend this way? Have they not bent this way all day because they've been in shoes and they need a couple seconds here? Extend your hips back up. Untuck your toes. Sit back down. Maybe you'll have more room this time. Great. One more wrist warm up. Actually, that's a lie. There's two. This time, fingers face you, and you'll slowly place your fingers on the floor and then your palms. Right now, my donations are automatically forward here, but try to pull your shoulders out of your ears and keep those elbows straight and maybe even sit back a little bit. I would say this is one of the more intense ones where you're going to feel that stretch and pull up the front of your forearm, especially if this is a new thing for you. We can regress it by doing this from the wall or doing one hand at a time. Gently sit back, slowly start peeling your palms off the floor and then your fingers. Elbows will bend to do that. Great, let's add on to this little seated position. Extend our hips, squeeze your butt, brace your ab. Tuck your toes. Good. We're gonna sit back, let's use our hands. Hands are gonna find the floor. They're gonna push your knees off the floor. Stay on your toes. Can you find a low squat position here? On your toes right now. Could you stay there and not have hands on the floor? Nice. 3, 2, hands come back down. Knees softly land on the floor. Extend your hips. Untuck your toes. Sit back down. Let's add one thing to that. Extend your hips. Squeeze your butt. Tuck your toes. With or without hands this time. Rock back to that toe squat position. You're here. Good. Could you maybe stand up out of this? Nice. Back down to that low squat on your toes. Nice. With or without hands. Knees find the floor. Soft landing. Extend your hips. Untuck your toes. Sit back down. We have one last wrist stretch. One regular hand. One back a hand down. Pack your shoulder. Rotate that blood donation forward. Sitting back. This again is also an intense one. Feeling that stretch up through the fuzzy part of your arm. Gently bend and peel that hand away from the floor. Other side, same thing. Back a hand down. Ian's showing that modification, bringing the floor up and doing that from a wall. Shoulder packed. Donation rolls forward. And then slowly bend the elbow and peel away from the floor. Shake that out. I'd like to get into some quick hips here and then we'll move on. We're gonna do our hips from all fours today. Hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips. First, let's explore our hip positions. Take a single leg, lift the knee up off the floor. Wait a second, put it back down. I'm gonna put a bowl of water on your back. Throughout this entire drill, I don't want you to spill your bowl of water. Okay, it's on your back. Lift a knee. Slowly kick the ceiling without arching your back and without tipping to one side so your water spills. Hold, elbows straight. Kicking the ceiling, bracing your abs. 3, 2, pull that leg underneath, pull it through center, and try to bring that knee towards your elbow or towards your chest. Keep that bowl of water balanced. Hold. 3, 2, bring it back to center. Don't put it down yet. Can you lift it right out to the side? Again, check in with that bowl of water. Did you spill it? Or is it still there? Hold. 3, 2, pull that leg back underneath, place it down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Bend the other knee, slowly kicking the ceiling. Don't spill your bowl. Reach, stay square to the floor. Keep your abs braced for 3, 2, then pull your knee underneath you towards your chest or your elbow, getting that compression in the hip socket for 3, 2, underneath. And last one, taking that leg right out to the side. I'd say the hardest one for me here, without trying not to twist. Hold for 3, 2, pull that leg underneath. Slowly come up off your hands. Let's sit one last time into this ankle squat to stand up. So from here, extend your hips, squeeze your butt, tuck your toes. With or without hands, rock back to your toe squat. Now, this time, could we find our heels? Your butt might have to lift. Stand up out of that. Nice, we're standing now. Either with a light kettlebell or an imaginary kettlebell. I'd like you to get that and set up with a bell in front of you. If you don't have one, use that one. We're going to reintroduce our halos that we started with last week. Stand in front of your bell, feet in your squat position, which is slightly wider than our hips. We're going to pull ourselves down into our squat. That means knees drive out. We're pulling ourselves low. In our squat, our knees are allowed to come over our toes. Our spine stays nice and straight. Let's take an elbow and for the first time, actually pry that hip open. From the socket, open up that hip. Maybe the instep comes up a bit. Back to center. Same thing other side. Pry that hip open and back to center. From here, push the floor away in order to stand up. Great. We're going to come back down and pick up our bell. Pull yourself down. Knees come over toes. Now, overhand grip. So I take my hands over, thumbs are down, bend, curl the bell up. From here, hop, step your feet in. This is our halo. From center, ear, back of head, ear, front of face. Repeat. Noticing the bell is moving around me and my head, I'm not moving. Once you've done about 3 one way, let's go 3 the other way. Warming up those blades and shoulders, as well as our core and our glutes, bracing our abs. Last rotation to center, step a little wider. Pull yourself down when you're done. Uncurl your arms. Bell goes down. You stand up. Shake it out. Great. I would like to come down to the floor in a get up pattern. So take a hand across your chest. The leg you can touch steps back. The front leg opens. We chop our hip, windmill, rotate, hand finds floor. Shifting our weight over that hand and shoulder. Lift and sweep that back leg through, find your butt. From here, find your elbow. Watch out for real and imaginary kettlebells. And slowly work away from that elbow towards your back. Nice. Flip over into a plank position. Today's plank, oh, we're gonna do a bear actually, I'm sorry. A bear position. That means all fours. Sorry, don't worry about my bell. All fours position, hands under shoulders, toes tuck. Without lifting your knees, I want you to brace your abs by pulling the floor together underneath you. Imagine pulling your hands towards your knees and your knees towards your hands. You can hear I'm already shaking, but trying to keep that tension high for 4, 3, 2, relax, don't go anywhere. If that was hard enough, repeat. If you'd like another step, let's lift our knees 1 or 2 inches off the floor with that same tension. Ready? Start pulling together. Knees lift off, hold. 10. This is similar to last time where I put that bowl of water on your back and you don't tip from side to side. 3, 2, knees come soft down. Relax, flip yourself back over. Let's get back up on the same side we came down on. So that hand or arm comes across our chest. That same leg is bent. The other leg is long and the other arm is out to the side about 45. Use your foot and hip, drive into the floor, pull on your elbow. Find your hand, plant your other foot, lift, sweep. Hand leaves floor. Front foot moves to a lunge position. Both legs up. Back to our halos again, excuse me. Back to our low squat and halos. With your bell, feet wider than hips into your squat stance. Pull yourself down. This time, no elbows, your own body weight power. Open up your hip with its own work. Driving that hip open, the instep might leave. Come back to center. Repeat other side. Drive open, center, push down to stand up. This time we'll pick up our bell when we're down there. Low squat, overhand grip, bend elbows, curl bell, hop with it, step your feet. If we feel comfortable, let's alternate directions. 1 to the right, 1 to the left. 1 to the right, ear, back of head, ear, front of head. 1 more each way. Butts are squeezed, abs are braced. You could be using a ball or an imaginary bell to do this. Pull yourself down, uncurl, up without. Or a very heavy dumbbell like Ian. A dumbbell you could also use either end. Whew, shaking that out. I'm just gonna move this so I don't do what I did last time. Other side, get up, down. Cross the other arm. Step back lunge. Front foot opens. Chop, hand finds floor. Sweep. Find your elbow. Slowly pushing away from your elbow, controlling the down to your back. Let's flip over and find our bear hold again. We're gonna go right to our bear hover hold, which means those knees are off the floor right away. Again, to regress, you just put your knees down and create that same tension. 10 seconds the first time, we're gonna do 2. Bowl of water on your back, hands grip the floor, shoulders pulled down, brace abs, and lift up. 10, 9, keep pulling the floor together underneath you. 7, 5, 3, 2, soft down. I'm gonna add 1 more bonus here. If you'd like to join me, go ahead. If not, just hold. Our bonus is gonna be trying to lift our foot slightly off the floor without tipping our hips. Ready? Tension up, knees leave. Can you lift a foot and don't twist? Hold, 3, 2, put that foot down, switch. Doesn't have to lift far, hold. 3, 2, 1 more time each side. Lift, hold, 3, 2, last switch, 3, 2, soft landing. Whew, that was work, eh? Flip over back to your back. Flip over onto your back. Get up on that second side. Arm crosses chest. Leg wide, foot drives into the floor. Use your hip extension to pull in your elbow. Hand, lift and a sweep. Hand leaves floor. Front foot moves. Both legs up. Throw your imaginary bell away. All right, it's hinges time. Hinges time. You don't need a kettlebell, but I'm just going to use one as a little bit of a marker. If you don't have one, no problem. Stand over top of your imaginary bell or your real kettlebell. Right over top of that bell. There we go. Feet are in our hinge stance, which for me is slightly wider than hip width. It's going to be different for everybody, but slightly wider than hip width. Toes are pointed forward. From here, chop your hips back. Keep those shins vertical. Keep your spine nice and long. If you don't have a bell, just slide those hands down your shins. Pausing here. 3, 2, push into the floor. Drive your hips up by squeezing your glutes and bracing your abs. Tall. I could punch in the stomach. I could punch in the butt. It wouldn't hurt. Let's do it again for 4 more reps. Not fast. Chop hips. Slide down shins or grip bell. Pack shoulders. Pretend to lift. Let go. Up without. Again, chop hips. Making sure as you're sliding down, your toes are still heavy. You're loading up your hamstrings and your glutes, not your back. Brace. Up without. 2 more. Hinge. Chop. Grip an imaginary 500-pound load. Set your shoulders. Brace. Pretend to lift it. Let it go. Up without. Last one. Hinge. Chop. Reach back. Pretend to lift your 500-pound load. 3, 2, up without. Shake it out. I'd like to work on our horizontal row here. I'm going to go ahead and do this body weight for the first set and then maybe add a dumbbell or a kettlebell, or an imaginary load. So this is imaginary here. Taking my stagger stance, or if you'd like to hinge and hold onto a couch or chair, this would be allowed. Stagger stance, hinging at the hips, nice long spine. My one hand, the same leg as the front, is going to rest on my quad. My other arm is going to be extended here, holding an imaginary bell. Back to the warm-up. We protracted our shoulders, or our arm went forward, our blade wrapped around. Don't bend your elbows, pull your blade back. Once it's in that set position, start pulling, bending your elbow, and rowing through your lat. Hold that position, retract your shoulder blade even more. Hold, 3, 2, keep your blade there as your arm extends. Repeat, elbow is straight. Blade wraps forward. Blade retracts, pulling back. It stays there. Row through your lat. Row through that armpit. Hold, 3, 2, extend the arm. One more time. Blade wraps forward. Blade retracts. Pull through your lat. Lat slaps for everyone. Hold, 3, 2, arm extends. Put your imaginary bell down. Stand up without it. Great. If I could slap you, I'd be tapping right here on you, making sure that lat is engaged. Here we go, other side. Stagger stance. Hinge at the hips. Empty arm is resting on your off leg, front leg. Get your imaginary bell. First, shoulder protracts, blade wraps forward. Don't bend your elbow, blade pulls back. From here, engage those lats and row, row, row. Hold. 3, 2, arm extends. Shoulder blade stays. Now protract that blade. Retract the blade. Hold it. Row. Pull through that lat. Hold. 3, 2, blade stays. Arm extends. Blade goes forward. Blade retracts. Row and pull. Row and pull. Hold. 3, 2, arm extends. Gently place imaginary bell down. Up without. Let's repeat our hinges again. Standing over top of your bell. If you have a bell, let's lift it this time if that feels available to you. And if not, you can be imaginary again. Chop hips. Doesn't have to be a heavy bell. Mine is only about 20 pounds, but that's enough. Chop your hips, hinge back. Slide down your vertical shins. If you're going to grip your bell, grip it with your hands. Pack your shoulders, push your feet into the floor. Inhale, brace your abs, up as one unit. Abs and butt. Keep that brace as your hips hinge back. Your bell slides back down right in between your feet. Let's reload up down here again. Pack shoulders, brace, up, because hips and glutes drive through. Hinge, keep that brace through core. One last lift. Pack, inhale, brace. Up without punching me on the stomach, punch me in the butt. So tight. Keep that brace as I hinge back. Toes heavy. Up without. Punch, punch. No problem. Great. Oh, our rows. Forgot what we did in between. We rode. I'd like to press, so we got one pressing groove in here. Very similar, but the opposite. Pick up your imaginary bell into your rack position. In your rack position, your forearm is vertical. Your abs are braced, your butt squeezed. That's pretty usual now. Pack your shoulder or pull your shoulder down, engaging your lat. From here, slowly try to press your imaginary bell towards the ceiling. Once you get to your overhead, which could be like Ian or could be more overhead like myself, depends on your body, reach towards the ceiling to hide your ear. Don't bend your elbow, pull your shoulder down. Now, lat slaps, just like your row, pull your bell down with lats. Back to rack. Relax for a second. Blade goes back, resets into the socket. Now, pull down to go up, press through the ceiling. Press, 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 ear overhead. Reach towards the ceiling. Pull your shoulder down. Now, pull through your lat. Tap, 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 tippity tap. Rack. One last time. Pack shoulder, brace abs. Pull down to go up. Don't let that shoulder blade come with you yet. Once you're overhead, now blade slides up. Blade pulls down. Elbow stays straight, but then it starts to bend and lats. Armpit, juice and orange under there. Hold, relax, switch hands. Don't ever switch hands like that with a real bell. Imaginary one, that's cool. Rack position first. Abs braced, butt squeezed. Shoulder retracted, lat engaged. Arm goes towards overhead. All the way to your overhead, elbow is straight. Reach to the ceiling, pull the shoulder down. Now, engage lat. You can tap it yourself. Pull it down, talk to it. All the way down, relax for a second. Up, shoulder packs, start going up overhead. Your overhead, hide your ear. Pull your shoulder down to show your ear, elbow stays straight, but then it starts pulling. Lats go from all the way from the armpit, all the way down your ribs. They come so low. Relax one last time. Retract blade, prepare to take off here. Pressing through the ceiling, straight elbow. Hide your ear, show your ear, pull your bell down to that rack position. Relax, get rid of it. Let's finish with one set of our chop and pops, back and forth. Ian is going to do 5 chop and pops, and I'm going to do 5 chop and pops. I did say one set, let's do 3. Set up there, Ian. In his chop and pop stance, that means our feet are in our hinge stance. He's going to chop his hips back with his hands, and then boom, pop him forward. I could punch him in the stomach, punch him in the butt. Ready? Go. Chop, pop, chop, pop. This is preparing us for our loaded swing. Last one. Now, if you're with me, let's go for 5. Chop, pop. If you're with Ian, just rest. Exhale as those hips drive through. Punch at the top. Ian's turn for 5. Chop, punch, chop, punch, chop, punch, chop, bam-o, chop, punch. Last one. I go for 5. Last one. Last set, Team Ian. Chop, pop, chop, pop. Chop, pop, 2. Last one. Last set of 5 for me. Chop. And shake it out. That might seem easy, But soon we get to do that with a kettlebell, with a load. We must prepare so much before we pick up that kettlebell and start swinging it. So stay tuned for more beginner kettlebell exercises and workouts every Wednesday at 5. If you have a kettlebell, you can use it. If you have a dumbbell, you can use it. Obviously, kettlebells are great for swinging. We're a little biased though, because we are here at Bars and Bells. Check us out on YouTube, on our website or membership portal if you haven't already. Subscribe, like, and we'll see you here again soon. Thanks for coming. Questions, leave them in the comments section. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Goodbye. I don't know either. Especially when it's on Do Not Disturb.